Hello everyone and welcome to Gregtech New Horizons, where we are in a hole, and we have to make this hole a bit bigger and collect these resources. Today we're going to be mining tin. Lots and lots of tin. Mining copper, lots and lots of copper. Also iron, we can never get enough iron. Alright, I do say it's lots, but it probably feels like more than it actually is. Just because of how slow our pickaxe currently is, but that's going to be our first fix for today. So we have been processing the copper and processing tin, which is also our first quest of the day. And you know, we have a few things to go through furnaces, so let's actually grab a few more. So we did manage to get ourselves 2 coke ovens last episode to give us creosote oil and charcoal. We got some very basic crop farms set up, as well as a basic animal pen. These guys hate it down here though. During the time I was mining, we also found some crushed silver. I think there's an impure pile here as well. So yeah, we have 3 silver dust. That's going to be very important today. However, what we're interested in right now is copper and tin. I have been smelting up some more stone. And what we're going to do is make a whole bunch of iron mortars. Maybe we start with 4. We're going to crush the copper into copper dust. It would be really ideal to get 3 stacks of copper dust. Maybe we didn't pick up enough. It's okay, we'll start with 2 and we'll also crush down a stack of tin dust. Tin combined with copper can give us bronze at a 3-to-1 ratio. And the bronze dust we can smelt into ingots. So we have to operate this tinker smeltery, and for that we need lava. And eggs. No, not eggs. We do need food, however. Food is definitely an issue here in the early game. No, but here in GTNH, carrying lava will actually damage you unless you have the pizza gloves on. And the pizza gloves requires leather. Oh, another quest. And actually, I think we have a decent amount of leather. Maybe we should keep our cow population alive. Somewhere. Yes, we have 22 right here. We do need some more string, which we can get from the cotton plants. I think this is something we'll expand today, actually. Is it just 3-to-1? Yes, perfect. Then we have to make some woven cotton. Oh, that's nowhere near enough. We need 6 woven cotton. Yeah, you see, whenever you need cotton, you need it in huge quantities. We do at least have enough for the left hand. Since we have to wait on the cotton, we're going to make a start on the tool parts for the smeltery. We do have a lot of the patterns already from the village, and we are just going to make stone variants so that we can cast these out into aluminium brass. So the axe, the shovel, the sword, the pickaxe head, the tool binding, I think. We should have a few of those. Yeah, we have a lot of tool rods here. We are also going to want a hammer head for sure, but I don't think we can get the anvil yet. We need alumite, that's right. Yeah, you know, since we're waiting anyway, we might as well actually just expand out this cotton field. The quest also gives us 10 more seeds. We actually weren't that short, we can get the right hand. This should also be our quest. If I remember correctly, these fit inside the equipment slots. I think it's here, right? And it would also be nice to grab a few more of these seared tanks to reduce the amount of times we have to go refill it. I don't think we can craft any more of these though. No, we need some more seared bricks. Let me craft up some more of these. After crafting up some more tanks, we went out in search of some lava. And I went back to the spot we found last episode next to the 2 tin veins. We need a total of 24 buckets to fill all 6 tanks. However, even with the gloves, we do still take damage unless we're holding the tank in our main hand. And there's no offhand here in New Horizons. So the return to the surface was a careful juggling act to balance the tanks and the amount of food we had. And we definitely did not take enough food for this. However, we are now back at the base safely. I filled in 6 tanks, 3 on each side, and we can finally start to forge our tools. And you know what, actually I'm going to head back to the village. I think we left some stuff there. Ah yeah, we did, but nothing really of value. It's going to be a long walk home as well. I shouldn't have done this. To save what, a few ingots of material? Sometimes you have to be inefficient to be efficient. Please tell me I kept some copper. Okay, good, good. We have a tiny little bit. So our next quest is to find some aluminium gravel, which we've actually already done. And we can smelt the aluminium gravel directly in the smeltery along with some copper. I forget, is this a 1-to-1 ratio? No, I think it's 3-to-1. Aluminium to copper gives us aluminium brass. And you know, Tinkers has got a bit of a bad reputation, I feel like, recently. But honestly, especially in New Horizons, I think it's very, very fun. Like, it's almost so old now that it's becoming new. It's got that classic charm to it. Alright, any second now, come on smeltery. Yes, there we go. And those tool parts we made earlier out of stone, we're going to cast those out. The shovel, the pickaxe head, the sword, the tool rod, and the axe head. And for basically every tool head, we're going to use bronze. The tool has to be full durability for us to swap out the part. We're going to swap our pickaxe head with bronze, of course. However, it does reduce the mining level by 1. We can further increase that though by leveling it up, and we level it up just by mining, which is why I wanted to get these things very, very early on. We're of course also going to upgrade the shovel and repair the axe to upgrade the axe. Alright, so we're almost there. Finally, we will need an upgrade to our sword. The flint sword is garbage, other than the fact that it does have flame on it passively. So we're just going to go for a full bronze sword right here, broadsword. I think I went with the rapier last... Oh, I made 2 of these things. Oops. I wasn't paying attention. I think we went with the rapier last time, but this broadsword in 1.7 has the ability to block. I really wish they would bring this back in the new versions of the game. Oh, the GT quest book, it got us again. We missed the sword quest. Apparently we need You're Now Prepared. Come on, Smeltery, you can do it. This is unbelievably slow. I saw in the comments on episode 1 that a lot of you guys have started playing this pack. I hope that you guys have some patience, because you're going to need it here. And by the way, I want to just say thank you so much for the reception on episode 1, it was amazing. And this is going to be a long series, that's for sure. There's going to be slow moments like this as well, but you know, it's part of the journey, it's all part of the journey, so I want to show stuff like this. Not necessarily just jump cut to every quest completion, because that kind of ruins the fun. You're not prepared. We get our aluminium ore berries and our steam age loot bags. I already have a pair of shoes and some potions. Actually, those potions will be nice when we go to the nether. There's the quest for the sword. Aluminium, brass, or a loot bag? We take the brass. Does this seem any faster to you guys? It's hard to tell. It must be, right? But we still have many, many hours of mining ahead of us. Let me grab some more iron before we can progress here. Also, there is an awful lot of mobs around here. They're kind of making me a bit nervous. Ow. I think we're relatively safe where we're at though, as long as we don't head down there. And that's right, in GTNH you get all of these debuffs if you have low HP. 7 carrots left. That's not going to help us very much, and it's also turning nighttime. Welcome to New Horizons. Alright, it's been multiple hours for me, and I was starting to get a little bit worried actually. I was thinking, you know, how are we going to turn this place into our new base? It's not an easy thing to decide on, and this is where I think I can help a lot of you guys actually. So this might not look like multiple hours of work, but it really took me a long time to wrap my head around this. But we have the start of our new storage room, and the placement of these chests is actually important. And we also have the start of our next project for today, a little tunnel down here. This is where we're going to put our steam machines, and probably LV and beyond is going to go this way. However, before we discuss the base any further, we do have to go and explore a little bit. I think I did mark it on the map, yeah, around 300 blocks to the east. You know, this is a very spooky forest to run through. Fortunately, we do have our bed with us. It's 6:32 on the dot, let's sleep. Yes, this is exactly what we're looking for. You know, it's quite curious that there's a house generated here without a bed. I mean, everyone needs a place to sleep after all. But since there isn't any bed here, we're just going to take the walls. It doesn't appear like anyone lives here anyway. Awesome, this thing provided us with just under 4 stacks of bricks. We could go underneath to the dungeon, but there's like a million spawners under there, and I don't really feel like taking any more chances today. Oh nice, some aluminium gravel. We can always do with some more of this. So, welcome to a segment I'm going to call Building with Threefold. I mean, I'm no BOO, but there's still a few things I would like to share. And of course, there are a million different ways you can go about doing this, almost infinite possibilities when it comes to building a base. However, one of the first things you want to consider is, do you want to build odd, or do you want to build even? For me, I never ever build with even numbers, in that you have 2 wide doors or 4 wide doors. That's a big no-no, because that way you don't have a center. Like this, there's no way to center this, which is why you normally stick to either 1 wide, 3 wide, 5 wide, or 7 wide paths. Like here we have 3 wide, we can easily expand the walls out on either side, but this way we do have a center to work with, and that I think helps out a lot. There is ways to work with even, but I don't know how to do that, so I'm not I'm never going to do even numbers. And most of the multi-blocks, to be fair, are also odd, so it makes it much easier to place your multi-blocks if you're working with odd numbers. Yeah, we're going to be farming a lot of rubber wood. We need a lot of rubber wood here. The second thing is, since we're in Gregtech, chunk boundaries are very important. I don't know if actually I mentioned this last episode, but if you place a Gregtech multi-block over a chunk boundary, sometimes if you build your multi-block over the boundary, then it could void the items that it produces, and it could also deform sometimes. So when I said those chests were important, it's because I've also chunk aligned this whole thing. Even down to the placement of the farms out here last episode. I didn't mention it at the time, but this has all been chunk aligned. And you want to keep it consistent all the way throughout. You don't have to necessarily stick with a strict system of chunk alignment, but you can see some markers here. This is the very center of the chunk. And you might be wondering, Minecraft chunks are 16 by 16, and we established that there is no center with an even number, right? Well, there is a solution. You just have to be consistent in the way that you implement it. It's going to look something like this. The easiest way that I normally remember it is that you have 2 sections that are on the outside of the chunk and 2 sections that are on the inside of the chunk. So you're basically putting a 15 by 15 square slightly offset. So this side here is on the outside and then outside. If we're thinking about this chunk here, right? It's on the outside of the chunk, and then inside of the chunk, inside of the chunk. And that gives you 7 blocks to the center, which is an odd number. That gives you a center right here. It gives you 15 blocks across, so you have a center right here. And then the next one is just going to continue along like this, where this is going to be your border, and then you have another 15 by 15. So 2 sides on the inside of the chunk, and the opposite 2 ends are going to go on the outside of the chunk. And it should line up perfectly. So we can take that concept and apply it in this room right here, where this torch is the very center of the chunk. And the same actually applies to the next chunk over, where this block right here is the very center of the chunk. And that should line up square with the tunnel right here. So again, it's not something we have to stay absolutely regimented to, but at least it gives us the option when we're building Gregtech multi-blocks later down the line or running wires. At least it gives us the option to stick with this sort of a guide. Another very quick tip I can give you this episode is careful where you're placing your chests. It was okay for the first 3 that used to sit like over here somewhere, but just be careful where you place chests early on because it's very difficult to move them, especially when they're full. And I made that mistake in the first season, and I hope to not make it this time around. I mean, we don't get applied energistics until after we visit space, or after the moon, so things are going to be very manual for a long time. It's important to keep organized and stay organized. So let us continue on with the quest book here. Our next quest is to get the tools from Gregtech. We need a wrench. We already crafted the hammer. In fact, I already crafted the saw and the file. There's one we're missing, I know that much. The screwdriver, that's right. And for that, we need to make some iron rods. In fact, we need a lot of iron rods. Sure, we'll do them all. 45. And then 2 rods, a stick, a file, and a hammer. Oh, I was right, nice. We got the screwdriver. And the quest. Awesome. Zucchini bake. Yeah, you know what? Let's actually just claim all the quest rewards. I bet you didn't expect me to do that. And now our inventory is full. Oh nice, 16 aluminium gravel. Hey, this whole claiming quest rewards thing is actually decent. So unlocking this important tools quest gives us a lot of different options and ways we want to proceed. We are going to prioritize a source of water. You may remember I mentioned this last episode, we didn't manage to get it. And the water tank is the reason we've been farming this rubber wood. We are after specifically sticky resin, which has a chance to drop from the tree. And there is actually a tree tap, which I find not to be worth it early game, because the durability is just garbage. So I find it's better just to chop the whole tree and just replant. Wow, that was fast. The quest here also calls for a tree tap. Oh, come on. Well, I guess we have to put all of our tools to work here. It's a good idea to have a chest next to a crafting station so that you can pull the tools from the chest. Alright, there we are, 1 tree tap. And after a little bit more crafting, we can pick up our water tank sidings. Hollow 3x3, and we now have a passive source of water. Awesome. So these tanks here are relatively slow, as you can see. We only have a bucket by now. And there's a few environmental factors you have to consider. Most important of which is the humidity levels. The water tanks will produce the biome humidity divided by 10 in millibuckets every 8 ticks. So it's not exactly easy math to work with. And it's also important that it can see sunlight, as if you cover it, the output is halved. And they also get a small bonus when it's raining outside, but it's not really worth factoring that in when you're trying to calculate how many you need. And yes, we're going to have lots and lots of these. This is what we're going to turn into steam, and the steam is how we're going to power our first machines. However, to construct any of those machines, we were going to need some more copper. We got around 3 stacks, which should be enough to see us through this episode. And after the dangerous situation we found ourselves in last time with the iron, I wanted to find a separate iron ore vein. So I did a little bit more visual prospecting around the base. We came across a salts vein, which will be important later on. There was also a few coal veins we ran into. And fortunately, 4th or 5th time round, very low down, we did manage to get another brown limonite vein. This one was ideal since it was way more dense and didn't have as many caves around. It made it much easier to mine. So it was time for some absolutely thrilling mining. I can't wait to get this hammer, but it's going to make it even more rewarding when we do. And I finished off our session of resource collection by just farming some more rubber and oak trees. Well, I've been doing a lot of preparing. I hope I didn't miss anything for this. So with quite a lot of the wood I was farming, I crafted up these drying racks. And I chopped a lot of trees, look at all this. Yeah, these drying racks will allow us to dry off leather. I think we should have some leather already. We do, we have 31. We're gonna dry as much as we can. I remember this takes forever, so I wanna get this going ASAP. Yeah, and last time I only had 4 of these things. That was painfully slow. So to start making steam from water, we're gonna need a few things. The first of which is a large bronze fluid pipe for the quest. Oh, we get a choice reward. I think I'll take the iron chest upgrades, actually. We can never have enough storage here. I believe it's You Shall Proceed that unlocks the Steam Age for us. There is a quest here telling us about all the different tools we made. They all have in-world uses, as far as I know. I think every single one of them does. These things are not just used for crafting. And You Shall Proceed asks us to make a coal boiler, which will take any burnable fuel plus water and convert to steam. Oh, nice! And they made all the tasks here optional, apart from the last step, of course. So we are going to need an iron furnace. This is also where we make use of the bricks we stole. I mean borrowed. We need some bronze plates. How much bronze do we actually have? I just made a new batch, actually. There's some iron, more iron. I think I got some copper in the other ones over here. Yeah, we're good for resources. I think that's everything we need though, right? Can we get 1 coal boiler? We can. You shall proceed. Okay. It's not that much of an achievement. I think we take the fluid pipe here. And we also get our hollow glasses. That is awesome. So hollow glasses also go in the equipment slot. I think it's up the top here. And this allows you to see wait, does it not? Ah, that's right. There is a keybind for it here. This allows you to see exactly what you've got in all the chests. Very, very useful tool. And we're looking snazzy when we're doing this, right? Yeah, it does disappear, unfortunately, when you've got it in the equipment slots. Alright, so you may notice that I added 1.5 more fluid tanks here. Water tanks. Is this one full by now? Not quite. Yeah, I said it wasn't exactly easy maths, but if you have it in 80% humidity like we do here... Hello, zombie. Actually, no. These guys are... These guys are trouble. If you have it placed in 80% humidity, then it works out to 1 millibucket per tick. And it's very important that we produce enough water, because otherwise we have explosions on our hands. So we need some way to transport the water, and for that we're going to use wooden fluid pipes. Not necessarily ideal, but it's certainly the cheapest at this point in the game. And we are going to go for the large wooden fluid pipe. These things have a fluid capacity of 1200 litres per second. I know it's measured in seconds, it's very awkward. And it transfers half of its capacity every second. So it's... Oh yeah, we need the wrench to pick these up, don't we? Yeah. Oh, that sound. Oh, it's glorious. Top marks to whoever designed that. The heat value on these pipes is also an important factor to consider when you're moving other types of fluids, but water is... I mean, it doesn't have a minimum heat. This guy is still around. Oh my goodness. Leave me alone. Yeah, so what we are going to do here is run a fluid pipe directly from these tanks. I think we'll go through the middle of the chunk. We need the wrench to connect them together, like so. And all fluid pipes also have a locking system. The arrow is new. That never used to be there last time we played. But this basically prevents sloshing in the pipes and the water going backwards. It's good for lag, and it also makes the pipes more efficient. So we want all the water flowing the same way. Just make sure they're all connected over here. This is honestly one of my favorite parts of Gregtech, running fluid pipes like this. There's something about it that's just satisfying. And I guess there's also... We could have done it the other way, where we ran the steam. Oh, I hear creepers. We could have transported the steam, but the steam does have a minimum heat requirement. And that means we would have to use something like a bronze pipe, which is way more expensive for us at this point in the game than wood. Yeah, so this is all going to be very temporary right now. There's no way we can get the most efficient system. It's just something that you have to accept when you're playing this game. You have to settle for inefficiency when you're starting off. Actually, let's not put this right here. So, if I'm not wrong, we should be able to give this any type of burnable fuel. Lignite coal should work. And eventually, it's going to give us some steam, which we're going to output with the small bronze fluid pipe. This will have some throughput issues later down the line, but we just need it to get the first machine operational. Again, we'll use the shutter system. The arrows here are so nice. That could have been dangerous. Right on the foot of our stairs here. Yeah, we are going to need some way to actually use all the steam we're producing, right? Oh, right, it's the hammer. Yeah, we're going to need some bricked bronze hulls. And that should allow us to pick up the first machine, the steam alloy smelter. Oh yeah, and the boiler has now produced steam. It looks like it's filled up, burned through all the coal. And these bronze pipes should be full. Do we not take damage? I don't know why I'm testing a wire here like this, but we used to take damage from steam. Is that not the case anymore? Well, regardless, the tooltip says it is in there, so I'm going to trust that. And we can enable the output from the pipe here and plug in our steam alloy smelter. Oh, some of you guys were probably screaming at your monitor earlier on. I was wondering why this leather wasn't drying off. What we actually should have put in there is bound leather, which means we need to make more woven cotton. Yeah, woven cotton, string, and leather. And it's 4-to-1 as well. That's super expensive. Yeah, we can get 7 right now. So the first and I think only recipe we can run right now is for red alloy ingots. And the only way we can make that right now is in the alloy smelter with redstone and copper. However, we have not found any redstone ore. We did come across some small ore when I was mining copper though. And I think we also have a few impure piles here. Yeah, if we fill up the cauldron, we can use the hammer to convert the crushed into impure. There goes the hammer. And toss the impure in the cauldron. It should give us clean dust. Only 11 or 12. I don't think that we need 14 for the quest. And it's also 4 redstone per. You know what? Let us just give it a test anyway. So redstone plus copper dust. Loud machines. Very loud machines. I forgot about that. Oh, and it gave us the first one, but it stopped already. Alright, one thing to remember about all of the steam machines need a vent port. So you need to keep at least one side of the machine free, and it should start again. I guess we already ran through all the steam. Yeah, these things are very, very steam hungry. We need more fuel for the boiler. Maybe not. There must have been some in the pipe still, but regardless, we are going to need some more redstone for that thing to function properly. And along with the redstone, if we look a little bit further down in the steam quest, we're going to have to make a macerator. And the macerator requires diamonds. Not something we found yet. Potions of water breathing. That was an interesting look back. It looks like by now the leather is finished drying off. We should have more cotton here, right? Yes. I've been farming this thing diligently. And I think maybe it's time that we pick up some miner's backpacks. Oh, it's only 1 leather pair, or 1 tanned leather and 4 regular leather. That just means more cows will meet their demise. It's time to thin the herd. There's way too many here anyway. That's a dangerous business. Yeah, we have enough for 2 miner's backpacks, which give 15 slots each, and this holds all the ores. It's going to make mining much, much easier. Well, not necessarily easier, it's just that we have more capacity, right? Can never find the center of these chunks. You like spin round in circles forever. What are the chances this is redstone though? We're at Y40 and we still... Oh, diamond! Nice! Even better! Even better, diamond is way more rare. Nice. Yeah, it should be pretty low down here. We're at Y30. It's going to be more or less at the bottom of the world. Cave. We should be careful. I am not jumping down there. We cover it up on all sides. Oh yeah, it is a diamond vein. Diamond and graphite. And there's some coal mixed in here as well, I believe. Yeah, you know, it just turned nighttime, so I think I'm going to gather this until morning. Unfortunately, I didn't take the bed. We don't necessarily need the diamond immediately, whereas we could do with the redstone. And redstone is also going to help us speed up the pickaxe. Aha! I decided to dig a few chunks over and we got a sodalite vein, or a lapis vein here. Lapis is awesome because this can give us calcite. Yeah, small calcite right here. Calcite we are going to need in order to get steel, if I remember correctly. It is calcite, right? Yeah, calcite, yeah, here. I remember this thing. Yeah, it's good that we found it though. However, with that, I think this is also a good point to wrap up this episode. I'm going to continue to look for redstone. The grind here in New Horizons is just beginning. We've got a long ways ahead of us. Anyways, with that, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next episode of Gregtech New Horizons.